Hello, guys. It's Daniel here, and welcome to Emotional English. The Emotional English is the podcast about English learning, where we learn an English language effortlessly, emotionally, fulfilled with energy, and of course, positively. Welcome, everybody. So today, I made another podcast episode for you guys, and we're going to discuss the topic of news in levels. And what does it mean? So we're going to discuss the news topic, and we'll do it in levels. So I use the website on my podcast, the website newsinlevels.com. And if you guys want to learn English pretty effectively, you can use the real language, and News in Levels provide you the option. You can choose the level 1, level 2, or level 3, and read the news segment about life, about what's going on in the world. Of course, some of these news articles are needed to be proved or checked thrice, but for English learning purpose, it's a pretty good resource, and you can listen to this news article, or you can concentrate on a new vocabulary while reading. So it's pretty useful and great for your English evolution. So I want to say, and I want to choose the topic of European problem with gas. And the name of today's topic is Europe does not get Russian gas. And I'm using the level 3. It's the hardest on the website. The new is pretty short, so it's only 3 paragraphs here, and we discuss at least 3 or 5 new words here. So in the end of this podcast, you will learn at least 5 new words, and you will have a chance to discuss or explain these words, all right? If you're new on our podcast, so I do the little reading first. I go step by step. I read the paragraph, then I go sentence by sentence. And then if something new or interesting is faced, so I describe it in a more simple way. So I'm simplifying the language and make this episode, this article simpler, right, for understanding. And while you're getting the idea of the topic, you can learn new, harder words, right? So more advanced words or vocabulary. That's how it works. So let's go and begin with the first paragraph, all right? So we have the first paragraph. The decades-long agreement for Russian gas to flow to the EU via Ukraine has ended as 5-year contract between Ukraine's Naftogaz and Russia's Gazprom expired. Okay, pretty good paragraph, and it's only 1 sentence paragraph here. So let's discuss the first interesting word, I would say. Decades long. What is a decade? The decade, it's the period of how many, you guess? Of 10 years. So if you speak and if you say that 3 decades ago, it means 30 years ago. If you say 4 decades ago, it means 40 years ago. So the decades, it means many periods of 10 years. The decades-long agreement for Russian gas to flow to the EU via Ukraine has ended. So now the contract, which was a pretty long one, right? The decades-long agreement or contract between European Union, it's a EU short, and Russian government, let's say, or Russian gas company. So that's the contract description. And all these activities happened via Ukraine. Via means through, okay? When you say, I speak to my friends via Telegram, it means you're using Telegram and you are speaking with your friends using Telegram. So via, it's a pretty useful word when you speak with someone and you say, I spoke with my employer via Skype, it means you use Skype to have a discussion with your employer, for example, right? So via Ukraine, it means through Ukraine. And that contract has ended as a 5-year contract between Ukraine's Naftogaz and Russia's Gazprom expired. So the last contract has ended between Ukraine's company Naftogaz and Russia's company Gazprom. So the contract had expired. Okay, so it means they didn't prolong the contract, so it's over now. Okay, that was the first paragraph. Again, we discussed the decades-long agreement. We discussed what is via. If you see via Ukraine, it means through Ukraine. So, but what happens to the gas when you transport the gas? So the gas flow. So if you describe the topic of gas and how you transport the gas flows to another country. Okay, and what kind of thing do you use gas to flow? You use the pipeline. The pipeline. Okay. Pipe, it's this big, long metal thing. And inside of this metal thing, you have the gas. And this gas is flowing to another place. Okay? Pipeline. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky refused to extend it, stating it helped fund Russia's war. The EU was given a year to prepare, and the European Commission says its gas system is resilient. However, Slovakia might face challenges, and Moldova is already experiencing shortages. Okay, that's another paragraph. And we have the statement of Ukrainian president, which I think is not officially a president because, his president elected time had expired a long time ago. But anyway, so it's just a news description. We're not discussing politics today. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky refused to extend the contract. Extending means prolong, right? So it's the synonym option. To extend the contract, to prolong the contract, stating there is a reason why he haven't extended the contract, stating it helped fund Russia's war. And again, official naming of the situation in Ukraine is special military operation of Russia. So we don't call it war, okay? So it's for the media if you want to claim that I'm going against the law. So there is no war. There is a special military operation in Ukraine. So stating it helped fund Russia's war. Yes, so there was a reason why Volodymyr Zelensky refused to extend the contract. It was the statement that this pipeline, this opportunity of Russia to sell the gas to European Union helped fund Russia's war actions. Okay? It was his statement. The European Union, or EU, was given a year to prepare. And the European Commission says its gas system is resilient. Beautiful word, resilient. The system is resilient. What do you think resilient is? When something is resilient, it means that this thing or a person able to recover or adjust quickly. What does it mean, recover or adjust? Recover, it's like when you have a problem, something happened, and you can come back to your normal state very quickly. So if you can do this, you are a resilient person. I have another example for you. So let's say I'm the karate nerd, or I'm going to the karate practice, and I'm very tired in the end of my practice, right? I come back home and I need some recovery time. My body needs to recover. If next day I wake up and I feel good, So I can say that I'm pretty resilient because I had recovered very quickly. And it's the definition of resilience. If you can recover very quickly, you're a resilient person. Or another situation of resilience, it's when you can adapt very quickly, adjust very quickly. So this is another resilient situation, right? So when, let's say, your favorite Snickers bar was banned, so now you cannot find Snickers bar in the store, you now buying something different. So, and it's not a big deal for you, okay? So that means you are pretty resilient because you had changed your routine to something new and you adapted pretty quickly. You adjusted your decisions and now it makes no changes, right, for you. So you're pretty resilient. You don't feel any pain. You don't feel that you need to recover more longer, right? So you're fine. You're completely fine. Okay, you don't need to recover longer. Okay, I hope I discussed this word correctly and enough for your understanding. Now let's discuss the context, because the situation with words, with vocab, is very important because we need to discuss the content description. So the European Commission says the gas system is resilient. It means they feel that gas system in Europe is fine. So it's adapted to the new realia that the pipeline of Nord Stream and Ukrainian pipeline doesn't work. So they say it's resilient. But I think it's all words, but I'm not discussing politics here. So European Commission says the gas system is resilient, adapted, adjusted, recovered, so they're good. Yeah. Next sentence. However, Slovakia might face challenges and Moldova is already experiencing shortages. So, European Commission says the gas system is resilient. But in reality, however, right, in reality, Slovakia, it's the country of European Union, might face challenges. What does it mean, might face challenges? Might see, or the possibility is very high. When you see maybe, it's about 50%. Might be is about 90% chance. So might face challenges, might see problems in the future, Slovakia as a country. And Moldova is already experiencing shortages. What does it mean when you are experiencing shortages? It means you're not getting enough. It's a shortage, right? For example, if your store doesn't have a Snickers bar or something else what you like, it's probably because the delivery works not that good and you have a shortage of a product in your store. Let's say you had planned to buy 5 Snickers in the store, but you have available only 3. And that's a shortage. Why you cannot buy 5? Because the store has a shortage of Snickers bar, right? So this situation happens with Moldova. Moldova is already experiencing shortages. So Moldova needs more gas, but they don't have enough on the market. So because the pipeline doesn't work and there are not enough gas providers to Moldova, right? So that means shortage. Okay? Let's read and revise this paragraph one more time to stick to the whole idea, right? Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky refused to extend the contract, stating it helped fund Russia's war. The European Union was given a year to prepare, and the European Commission says its gas system is resilient. However, Slovakia might face challenges, and Moldova is already experiencing shortages. Okay, that's the end of the second paragraph. And we have one more paragraph to go. Let's start. Gas now reaches Hungary, Turkey, and Serbia through the Turkstream pipeline. Russia's long history of supplying cheap gas to Europe, dating back to 1964, has almost entirely stopped. Most European Union gas now comes from alternative sources like the US, Norway, Qatar, although it is much costlier. European consumers pay up to 4 times more than in the US, which impacts the region's economic competitiveness. That's the end of the third paragraph. Okay, let's go step by step now, right? Gas now reaches Hungary, Turkey, and Serbia through the Turk Stream pipeline. So we discussed the pipeline, right? So the pipe, it's this metal thing which transport the gas, right? And the pipeline is the system which goes. It's the the pipe starts from one place and ends in another place, right? So the Turk Stream pipeline, it's the system of pipes, and the Turk Stream go through the Turkey via Turkey, right? That's why it's called Turk Stream. So Ukraine has the pipeline system. Now it's stopped, and the Turk Stream still valid, still working. So Russia's long history of supplying cheap gas to Europe, dating back to 1964, has almost entirely stopped. So yes, we have the Russia's long history of supplying cheap gas to Europe. Supplying means giving and selling and transporting to Europe, right? Supply, it's a verb, to move and to sell, to transport, right? And Russia has a long story of supplying cheap gas to Europe. And it had started back to 1964. And now this situation with cheap gas to Europe has almost entirely stopped. So we have the word entirely here, right? It means almost fully stopped, right? Entirely, it means fully, completely, right? You can describe the word entirely as an emphasis, right? So you can emphasize something. For example, you want to say, look, my entire amount of food had stopped, right? Oh, I'm not having enough anymore. So my entire product storage is out, right? It means all of it gone. And entirely, it's an adverb to describe the process. And the process was very nice for Europe back in 1964. But now the situation entirely stopped fully. Now it's not working. Almost entirely, it means almost done. Nothing left. Okay. So all the cheap options gone for Europe. Most European Union gas now comes from alternative sources like the US, Norway, and Qatar. So who is alternative sources? Alternative source, it's the countries who sell the gas alternatively to Europe, right? And these prices are much more expensive than Russian prices. So alternative sources, these countries are United States, Norway, and Qatar. All of these countries provide supply gas to European Union right now. Although it is much costlier, so it's much more pricey, right? So it costs a lot of money, costlier, right? European consumers pay up to 4 times more than in the US, which impact the region's economic competitiveness. Yeah, let's start from the first part of the sentence. European consumers pay 4 times more than in the US. So we have 2 markets, European market and American market. So people who pay for gas in the country of Europe, let's say Germany. So the consumer, the person who buys something for their own need, let's say to heat up their apartment, so they pay 4 times more than in America. Okay, the prices are drastically different. Okay, very much different. So European consumers pay up to 4 times different. Let's say Americans pay $2. I'm just giving an example. Of course, much higher than that. But let's say European people, they pay $8 because it's 4 times more than in the US. And this situation impacts the region's economic competitiveness, right? So this situation impacts the region's economic competitiveness. What is competitiveness? It's ability to compete with others, right? So let's imagine this. You produce cars, right? And your cars are pretty competitive. Let's imagine Volkswagen, Mercedes, BMW, pretty competitive brands, right? But now when the prices for gas are 4 times higher, so the cost of energy for these companies are very, very expensive, and they need to raise their prices. So this leads to uncompetitive situation. So let's say companies like Chrysler, companies like Chevrolet, they have more competitive options and prices because their energy costs less. So that's why the region's economic competitiveness is kind of lower in Europe than in America. And I've heard that many companies moving their product lines, moving their factories to USA because the gas, the energy costs less there. Okay? Does it make sense? I hope yes. So we had finished the third paragraph. Now, I would ask you a couple questions about this paragraph. Hope you understand things correctly. So when something is almost entirely stopped, what does it mean? Again, it's the emphasis. So you try to explain that something is in a high amount, right? Entirely stopped, right? Fully stopped. It's high numbers, right? Competitiveness, its ability to compete with others, right? Let's say competitiveness level of karate, let's say, is pretty big. So many kids come to competition. They compete between each other. Let's say kids' competitiveness is higher than adult competitiveness because kids, they have more free time. They go to their hobby every single evening or 3 times a week. But adults, they have a problem with that. They're not that resultative because they have work, they have family to take care of, right? So the competitiveness levels are completely different. But kids are less serious than adults. So adults spending their time more effectively, right, during the karate practice. And that's the difference of competitiveness is exists. It exists there, right? Hope I explained it understandably for you guys. So let's read the whole paragraph. The whole topic again. Let's connect all these paragraphs together. And I hope now it's more clear for you guys. So let's start from the first paragraph. The decades-long agreement for Russian gas to flow to the EU via Ukraine has ended as a 5-year contract between Ukraine's Naftogaz and Russia's Gazprom expired. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky refused to extend it, stating it helped fund Russia's war. The European Union was given a year to prepare, and the European Commission says its gas system is resilient. However, Slovakia might face challenges, and Moldova is already experiencing shortages. Gas now reaches Hungary, Turkey, and Serbia through the Turk Stream pipeline. Russia's long history of supplying cheap gas to Europe, dating back to 1964, has almost entirely stopped. Most European Union gas now comes from alternative sources like the US, Norway, and Qatar, although it is much costlier. European consumers pay up to 4 times more than in the US, which impacts the region's economic competitiveness. Okay, so we had discussed the Europe does not get the Russian gas topic today, guys. I hope it was pretty useful, right? I hope it was interesting. If you like to read news, this is the way how you can improve your English language efficiency. Okay? So just repeat this audio again and again and again to understand the text clearly. And I'll see you very soon next episode. Okay? Let's stay in touch and have a beautiful day, guys. I hug you all. I kiss you all. Have an amazing day with your English progression. Take care. Bye-bye.